The relationship between social media and the law is under the spotlight here in the UK. Today, the country's Attorney General is taking to Twitter to outline how users could break the law by commenting about criminal cases. Let's speak now to Rupinder Bains, who is a lawyer specialising in social media. She joins us from one of our central London studios. Thank you for being with us. How necessary do you think it is when there are millions of innocuous tweets sent every day for this guideline to be set out by the Attorney General?
It is very important, and I think it's very overdue, actually. The whole world has got so much closer since the advent of social media. Everyone's got an opinion to say, and everyone's got something to say on every aspect of stories that are in the news. But what they don't have is the training that journalists have, and so some guidelines are necessary to make sure that what a person tweets is within the law and is not in breach of contempt of court legislation.
What advice would you give people then before they send a tweet?
Just exercise common sense, really. The whole premise upon which our legal criminal justice system is based is that you should be tried by your peers on evidence that is put before the court and not that which is based on tweets. So, if you know that there is information that you have which is not part of a case or whatever, you should not be tweeting that information. You will be caught by the new legislation. However, what the grey area that still surrounds this whole issue of social media tweeting and Facebook posting is what happens if you tweet from abroad. There's no guidelines as to what would happen then, because you wouldn't be caught by the legislation in those instances.
That's really interesting, particularly for our viewers, Rupinder, who are around the world. So is it different, say, if you're living in a country like the Philippines, tweeting about something that's happened here in Britain?
Well, absolutely. These legislations, the advisory notes that the Attorney General is seeking to place into the public domain, they wouldn't apply. So you wouldn't be caught by the contempt of court proceedings, and therefore you can't be prosecuted.
How much do you think people think that a tweet is just a transitory thing? They send it and it may never be seen again after sort of an hour or so.
Well, that is the common viewpoint, isn't it, of people that use social media. It's very conversationalist, it's very instantaneous, and this is precisely the reason why these guidelines need to be there, because it's having a huge impact on criminal cases. It's not just to protect the defendant, it's the whole administration of cases, because it's there to protect the witnesses, the potential victims of a case. In the Ched Evans cases, there's so many cases where people are named, and it has a knock-on effect to the case before the courts.
We talked to some people on Oxford Street today, and it was a very quick straw poll. None of the young people there really knew what they legally could and couldn't do on Twitter. Do you think it's going to take more people being prosecuted before the message really gets through?
Oh, I would think so, because at the moment the only way you're going to know about the Attorney General's advisory notes are if you're following him on Twitter or if you log on to the government website. How many people are actually going to do that? Highly unlikely that there's going to be an incredible number of the average user of social media. So it will be instances brought to the fore by media of prosecutions which will alert other users to this issue.
Fascinating field. Rupinder Bains, thank you very much for joining us from one of our central London studios there. As Rupinder was saying, it's a bit of a legal minefield. So if you're unclear about what you can and cannot post online, we're actually going to put some guidance on our Facebook page. So do go to facebook.com/BBC World News, join in the discussion, have a look too, see if there's some things there that you didn't know. And remember, be careful the next time you tweet or post something on Facebook.